Hi there. I'd like to talk to you today about bar chords. So a bar chord, of course, many of you might know already, is where you extend one finger across all the strings or a few of the strings. Here's some things that might help you with the bar chord. You notice I had the neck of the guitar elevated, which many people don't play that way, but when I do that, I have the weight of my arm, the gravity of my arm behind my finger. So when I put the finger down on the guitar, the gravity of my arm, I can let my arm fall into it, my upper arm, and use the weight of my hand to help hold the bar chord. And that's a really important thing that very few people do. Most people will squeeze really hard with the thumb. And of course the thumb's on the wrong side of the neck as far as strings are concerned, but they'll squeeze the thumb to try and push the neck into the finger. And what I prefer to think of is to use the thumb as hold it stiff to keep the neck from moving, and to use the index finger to get the sound by pulling down into it, pulling from the bass flange, which has all the muscle, and to get that part of it clearly against the string, and then bringing in the tip joint right here to get that bass string. And there's some other tricks we should talk about too. One of them, if you see my bar chord here, here's a bar F, you'll see that from where you're sitting, it looks like I'm over the fret, because I'm bringing up the curve of my finger all the way to the fret. Most people I see that have a lot of trouble with bar chords aren't that close to the fret. They might have a gap like this. So you want to bring your finger over the fret as much as possible, straighten the finger, and by raising the neck, it's easier to straighten the finger because I have to bring out the hand. I don't have to bring it out so far like this if it was down. I can keep the wrist fairly flat. So I straighten the finger, bring it over the fret, watch out for those little cracks between the joints that can cause buzzing. Pull in with this part and then flex the tip joint in to get that bass string. And my thumb is firmer to keep the neck from moving, but I'm not squeezing with the thumb. I'm holding it firmly to keep the neck from moving. I also let the weight of my other arm fall into the guitar, the plucking hand, to kind of hold the guitar steady. So between the weight of this, not squeezing, because that's not very good, but just letting the weight fall here, bringing the neck up, putting the finger over the fret, straightening the finger, and firming up the thumb so the neck doesn't move, and then I'll let the weight of my hand fall into the neck. One other thing I like to say is too, don't extend the index finger too far over like this, it's slower. An exercise I find that helps people sometimes is a bar F to a C exercise. So I'll have people, you play the bar F first, leave your ring finger and your thumb where they are and switch to the C. So I'll move my index and then move the other fingers. So I'm going back and forth without moving my thumb or my middle finger. A lot of times people that play on their off leg with the neck lower will have their thumb up high. So their thumbs will be moving like this. That's why I start on the bar F so you keep the thumb low and then move it back and forth. So all those things are going to help you play the bar chord. You can take any chord on the guitar and turn it into a bar chord, any open chord. Here's a C chord, for example. I'll finger it like this and slide it up one fret and bar here. That's a D flat, and here's a D. Here's an E flat. That's an awkward chord to make. I could do it with a G. Finger with these three fingers and slide it up and bar here, and that's an A flat, an A. Well, most people can't make that chord, and it's a very awkward chord. Most of the bar chords that anybody will play on the guitar are based around the E forms and the A forms. So I'd like to describe those, starting with the E forms. I'm going to talk about 4 chord forms. The E minor, where I take off my index finger, E minor 7, and E7. So those are 4 forms. Now I can bar all those up. So to give you an example, and this is the E string. So here's an E form chord with these 3 fingers. I'll move it up and then bar behind it. There's an F. F sharp or G flat, G, G sharp or A flat, A. The other forms that we see the most are the A forms. So there's A minor, A minor 7, and A7. So I'll take those 4 shapes and find the root of the chord I want on the A string. This is the A string. So let's say I want a C sharp minor chord. So I'm going to use the A minor form, this form. I'll use it with these fingers. I'll find the C sharp on the A string, A sharp or B, flat, excuse me, B, there's C, just like in the C chord, C, C sharp. So I'll bar there. I've got C sharp on the A string. I use the A minor form. There's my C sharp minor chord. So these are movable chords. I can find a C sharp minor in the other position too as well. One in the E form, one in the A form. I'm usually going to pick the one that's closest to where all the other chords are. So I'd usually pick this C sharp minor over this one because it's closer to where I was already playing most of the time. The two families we're talking about, the E family and the A family, are going to make up the bulk of the bar chords that you're going to use. That's 4 forms in the E, 4 forms in the A, so that's 8 forms. The open positions plus 11 fretted positions. Congratulations, you just learned 96 chords.